Welcome back to another episode of What Are You Made Of with your boy, Mike C-Roc. Thank you guys so much for listening, joining us. Let's get right to today's show. My friend Trevor Houston, I'm bringing him into the house to share his story with you guys. This guy's fantastic. I was on his show. It's a LinkedIn live show, and guys, just the crew that he has there, the energy was just phenomenal. And he's doing some great things, and I just want to share his story with you, the listener. And guys, please, before I get started here, go subscribe to the podcast. If you listen to podcasts, go subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. If you like to watch them, go to my YouTube channel, Mike C-Roc Ciorrocco. Subscribe so that you get alerted when new episodes come out. We are rolling right now. I'm bringing some great guests for you. I'm going to continue to look for great guests because I want to change your life. Really, it's not me changing your life. It's just me giving you the path so that you do the work and you can change your life. So Trevor Houston is with us today, CEO of ClearPath Wealth Strategies, who specializes in handling 401k rollovers, as well as helping job seekers get noticed to create opportunities and regain their main source of income. As the host of the Who You Know job networking show, Trevor uses his networking strategies to build a community of leaders, empowering job seekers, entrepreneurs, and business owners to follow their passion and embrace being uncomfortable. Recently featured in Forbes, Trevor was recognized for his job search Trojan horse strategy that helps job seekers infiltrate the hiring process and close the deal. Guys, give a big round of applause, even though we won't be able to hear it, to Trevor Houston. Welcome to the show, Trevor.
Hey, man, I appreciate you having me on, man. This is awesome.
Well, thanks for coming, man. I appreciate it. And you know how we start the show is by asking this question. What are you made of, Trevor?
Man, it's interesting you asked that question because things have changed a little bit. If you'd asked me a few years ago, I would have said trophies, accomplishments, awards. I was all about winning, 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 being on top and always being a top producer. But man, my mindset set has shifted a lot to impact. To me, it's not about the trophy anymore. Been there, done that, got them. Now it's about the lives that I can change along the way. So a lot has changed for me, but yeah, it's all about impact for me.
Impact. I love it. So take us back growing up. Where'd you grow up? What kind of
Yeah.
family life did you have? Like, what kind of things do you still look back on and fuel off of?
Yes. So growing up, I grew up in Texas. I'm a born and raised Texan, and it's kind of interesting because I grew up a lot differently from the people that were around me. I grew up in a pretty middle class suburb, Allen, Texas, and when you see what's there, you go, okay, there's actually kind of a lot of money over here. But I grew up in poverty in a place where there was a lot of money. So it was interesting. When my parents split up, I stayed with my mom, and my mom got disabled when she was right outside the divorce. She got disabled, got in a car accident. She couldn't work, so we were on all the different programs, welfare and disability and all these different things, food stamps. And then she invited a lot of people in to the household. Um, my house kind of became like a homeless shelter, and those folks were paying rent and things like that. So I grew up around a lot of different male, I don't know if you want to call them role models or what, father figures, if you will. I grew up a lot of different types of people, ethnicities, everything, a lot of different backgrounds. What's interesting about that is I wouldn't trade that for anything because it's what has made me so adaptable. I'm able to communicate with a lot of different types of people, and kind of a chameleon in that way. And I can really adapt and shift my conversation to the audience that I'm speaking to because I grew up around so many different types of folks. But yeah, that's a little bit about my background. Grew up in a interesting situation because everybody around me had money except for us. We were poor. I remember um, as a kid stealing water just to get the toilet to flush because we didn't have running water. So you had to pour water in there. We didn't have lights a lot of times, and so it was interesting.
Yeah,
Uh,
man.
so there you go.
Yeah, well, and the thing is, what you're talking about, being able to communicate with different types of people It's not ingenuine. I had a conversation with this the other day about someone, and they thought like, well, that's not really genuine. And I'm like, no, you're missing what I'm saying. I'm still myself all the time. I'm one of the most genuine people you'll ever meet. I tell it like it is. I roll with it like it's just the way it is. And if people like it, they like it. They don't, they don't. But at least they know it's me. But
Right.
when you're communicating with people and actually, you know, the way you communicate, the dialect, the talk, that's not necessarily being ingenuine. It's like if you can speak 6 languages, you speak Chinese when you're in China,
Right.
and you speak Spanish when you're in Mexico, and it allows
100%.
you to communicate with people better.
It is so true. I love how you put that. It's like when I get around my dad, I speak a certain way. When he gets around his father, he speaks a certain way. There's like some certain words they use and stuff like that. And like you said, I remember working in restaurants and being around a lot of Hispanic, right? And like I would just naturally pick up some of that and start speaking in their language and their dialect, and I would have a certain tone. And yeah, you're just being adaptable and trying to be relatable and
Communicate.
yep, communicate.
I
100%.
mean, the communication solves every problem. The proper communication, like people just don't get this. The problems set in when people do not communicate. Either they don't respond to someone that's talking to them, or they're not reaching out when they need help, or expressing some kind of issue to get some kind of assistance with. And I'm in business with all the employees that I've had. I've had hundreds of employees, but now currently around 40. And all of our issues arise when there's lack of communication. And so no, I'm glad you said that because I wanted to bring up that point. So now I'd like to get into your faith if you don't mind,
Yeah.
because faith's important to me. I mean, I believe in a omnipotent God, and omnipotent means all powerful for those who've never heard that term before. And for us, I think that we talk about limited beliefs a lot, limited potential, limited anything. I think that we're naive, any of us that believe in an omnipotent God, we're naive to think that we're limited. And that
Right.
if he puts a thought in our head, a good thought, a powerful thought, or something, that we should not believe that we can't go after it. Like that's just a naivety, if that's a word. I think it is. Um, and I just want to hear about your faith and how you developed your faith. Was it through your mom, or where it was in your life, and where did really get on pace to like make a
Yeah.
difference in other people's lives with it?
Yeah, 100%. I think people that have faith, whatever that faith is, if you believe in a higher calling, faith, when you think about it in general, it's just like it's having a belief without actually being able to see something, without the proof, right? To believe in God, you have to have faith without seeing, right? And so a lot of successful people, it's the same thing. They have a belief in themselves about a vision, right? They have a vision, something they can't see, touch, and feel, but they know it's real. They push all in because of faith, because of belief. And so you'll notice that trend. A lot of very successful people, they do have a faith. Um, and for me, it started with my father. So I talked a little bit about my background with my mom. Things were rough. Um, I got in a lot of trouble. I was breaking the rules at an early age, running the streets, doing a lot of stupid stuff. Um, was in and out of juvie, and you know, I was forced to go move with my father, and he was the right place for me to be all along. And you know, he taught me work. He taught me he's an entrepreneur, he's a business owner. He taught me work, how to save, you know, faith. My dad's a faithful man, is probably the closest person I can think to perfect, even though he's not perfect, but man, he just is a humble, he's a servant leader. Love my father to death. He saved my life. And yeah, that's where I got my faith from my father.
I love it. And how old are you now, Trevor?
33.
33. Okay. And then so when did you really have that moment of where you were not worried about your own achievements, but more impact? Where did that take place? Tell us the story about that.
Man, that didn't happen but about 2 years.
Days ago.
Yeah, no, like 3 years ago. Okay, so um, I was in the auto industry, and I was dominating in the auto industry. Was a top producer. I know one of your mentors, Uncle G, Grant Cardone was one of my mentors, and I took some of his training, and it lit me on fire, and I was dominating the auto industry. I was top producer 6 years in a row. I was all about the win, the trophy. Man, I wanted to be on top, and I did, and I hit that glass ceiling over and over and over. They wouldn't promote me or move me into management, although I wanted it because of my age and because I was very outside the box and non-conventional. And they were all, I feel like they were threatened by me. But anyway, so they didn't move me up, so I moved out. It got uncomfortable for me.
Stop right there for a second. I'm gonna stop where you left there, but I want to know
Yeah.
what your favorite close was back in the day.
Oh yes, the Ouija board close. You ever heard that one?
Maybe, I don't think so.
All right, so the Ouija board closed. Grant Cardone, man, shout out to you. Uh,
Yeah.
when somebody's on the fence, right? They're teetering back and forth, and the husband and wife, and they're like, "I don't know, honey. What do you think? Oh, I don't know. What do you think? I don't." And they're like, they want to do it. They just need a little push. They just need that little
Yeah,
extra
yeah.
something, right? So what you do is you go, okay, guys, I tell you what, we're gonna do something fun. We're gonna play a little game, okay? Just bear with me. We're gonna play a little game. It's gonna be fun. Here's a pin. I want you to hold the pin, okay? Just put the pin in your hand. So they put the pin in their hand, and now you direct their hand. You say, okay, now I'm gonna put the pin to the paper. I'm gonna put it right here. Okay, now here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna hold your hand, and at the count of three, I'm gonna let go. Okay. And if your hand starts signing, it's meant to be. If not, that's all good too. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. And you take your hand away. And the whole time you're explaining it to them, they're smiling just like you were. They're like they start laughing, and then you go 1, 2, 3, and they just they laugh and they just start signing. And and what's awesome about that is if they don't sign, you get to ask the follow-up question. Hey, okay, totally understand, appreciate that. What was going through your mind as I lifted my hand and I said 1, 2, 3? What was going through your mind at that moment that kept you from signing the dotted line?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I love it.
So the Ouija board closed. Grant Cardone. I made a lot of money off that one.
Well, the biggest thing of trying to close someone is the unspoken objection or concern,
Right.
right? So that allows them to come out with that. And the other one is a good one is the 1 to 10 close, right? You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, how likely are you to buy this product, or how likely do you move forward? And they give you a 6 or whatever, or how much do you like this product or whatever? And then you ask them, well, what would make it a 10? Right?
That's
Yeah.
it.
And then that, you need to dig out the unspoken objection, because that's the one you cannot handle until you know what it is. And yeah, so I love that. That's one of my favorites there.
This was 10 years ago. Actually 11 years ago. I went to this training. It lit me on fire, man. And yeah, this dude's the real deal.
I love it. Yeah, it's awesome. So I like the sales training. Don't get me wrong. That's all good stuff. I grew up in sales. I mean, and it's a lot of stuff that I've heard. There's a couple other things, but at the end of the day, what I like is more of anything with Grant is the getting attention.
Yeah,
That's the thing that did it for me, is like, it's okay to get attention. Don't worry about what people think. If they start coming at you, it's just the fact that they're speaking about themselves and quitting on themselves. And that's made all the difference in the world for me, because I go hard in my town here. I'm not afraid to say this. Like, I'll get little whispers of people that have something to say, and, you know, all that stuff. And I just, I feel bad for them. So now it's like a different mind. But I use everything as fuel. Anything that would normally have stopped me or slowed me down in the past, or, dude, just store it in the tank. Let's go. And
yep.
then if I'm around those people after hearing something through them, or if they said something directly to me, I go harder with it. Like the stuff that they're talking about or hating on or making a comment or joke, I'll lean into it harder, because I'm like, okay, well, if you don't want me to do it or you have a problem, now you're really going to have a problem. So, but I love that. That's the biggest part about it that helped me get to where I am, among many other things. But anyway, so you left the dealership, and then where did you
Yeah.
go from there?
Yeah, and so again, it was about the trophies and the awards and all that. But again, I outgrew that environment. I was wanting to move up. They weren't doing it, so I eventually moved out. And moved out, went to financial services, and got into this industry. And the first year one was a struggle, right? And I think it is for a lot of people. You get into that entrepreneurial business owner, in the car business. I didn't have to do commercials, and I didn't have to, like they had marketing bringing people in, and I just had to close them, right? I had to
Mm-hmm.
tell them why my product was the best and close them on it. But in financial services, like I got to go find people, I got to go talk to people, I got to bring in my own people.
Promote.
Yeah, and so it was a whole new element. My first year was a big struggle. I was hurting. I was sinking. I was in quicksand. I was not successful my first year. Um, and it wasn't until I started serving at a local church, started serving this group of job seekers, that things kind of turned around, and I started getting those trophies again. Man, I was on top producer, crushing it, dominating, and I did that like 3 years in a row, and then it just slowly, again, it's like, okay, been here, done that. Like, it's not about the trophy anymore. For me now, it's more about lifting people up. And I don't care if I'm top producer or not, who cares? I just know I need to serve people. The more I serve people, the more I pour into people, I'll be elevated, and it's going to be a good thing. The law of reciprocity. So for me, I just want to serve people. That's it. You know,
And how many people do you have working with you now?
Our team, we've got, let's see, about 8 folks, and growing. I'm looking for another financial services professional right now, and so that's what I'm looking to add, another licensed, registered financial professional to our team right now. So
What's a message that you tell your team on a regular basis? Like, what are your core values, or, that along with like, what's a constant message that you feel that you're going to your team constantly with your meetings or what have you?
yeah, that's interesting. This is still new to me, right? Building a team and
Mhm.
growing being the CEO and like that, it is really new to me. I'm a baby in this whole thing. We do have weekly meetings, and that's an area that I need growth and development in. I'm going to be just straight transparent. I listen to people that talk about creating good cultures, and I just get tunnel vision, and I know I'm not the best at that. I'm not. I need some guidance in how to be a better leader, and but I preach a lot about the impact. It's about serving other people and um, creating systems. That's what I'm really good at, is creating systems and processes um, that can help us to serve more people. Because you know I'm only one guy. I can only go so far. But if I have systems and processes that can help me, then we can expand. So
Yeah, I love that. That's one of my weaknesses, actually.
really,
So yeah, I obviously know how to build a culture, leadership, all that, and the action, the vision, the processes I rely on other people to really do, and that held me back for years, actually.
wow,
But we have a coaching call it's going to be I think February 15th is when it's going to start. And basically that program is to teach people those kind of things, but also it's $97 a month. It's every Monday night, but you might want to pop in there and check it out. But I'm going to talk to people about becoming unstoppable and what it takes to do that. And a lot of that has to do with, what do you say to the people around you? What do you say to your team? What kind of role model are you to them in areas that can help them overcome setbacks and things? And
I love it.
but yeah, so I've been new to the businesses things as well. I'm still learning as I go, but I'm always available to help you, brother.
Man, I appreciate that. Really, I do, because I know I can learn a lot from you. Somebody said it the other day. I was in a clubhouse room, and they were like, how great of a leader are by the success of your team when you leave. Like, if you're not there, like, how well is everyone doing? And I thought about that statement, and I'm like, you know what? If I wasn't there, not that my team couldn't make it happen, but it's not going to be the same. Like, if I step out, there things are going to start to fall apart. And so I like, man, okay, I need to be able to empower them
Hmm.
better,
Yeah.
right? I need to empower them better, and delegate more to them, and trust them. And I'm starting to do that and learning how to do that. It's tough. It's tough
Yeah. But here's the other thing though, and I'm getting a coaching, if I may suggest,
hey, I love it, man. I love
one
it.
of the things we have to be careful of is what we say, because you say it's tough, then you're going to justify in your mind that it's tough and it's hard and it's going to be a slower, tougher road. You gotta just like, and this is for you and everybody that's listening, but be conscious of what you think, say, and do. And my mentor Brandon Dawson talks about this all the time to us: is what you think is what you say is what you do becomes your legacy. And so I'm very conscious of what I say. And I
Mm,
ask people around me to point out times where I'm not saying what I need to be saying, because, a lot of times people say, wow, man, good employees are hard to find. Right. And then the people that we're going to talk about your show in a second, about people that are job seeking. Oh, it's hard to find a good job. Well, they're just giving themselves excuses of why they're not doing it and then continuing to do it. So all of us need work on this. But dude, you have the personality to be able to do some wonderful things, which you're already doing. But I'm talking about in your business to really scale that and make a huge impact on your employees and your clients. And it's just some of the things you need to know and run into. It's the same thing for me. Like, I had to run into some things and I didn't know what I didn't know. And you have a great business, but the way that it'll change on a like rocket fuel trajectory is when you start really understanding some of the things that um you know people, basically making your people like, they'll just all of a sudden when you leave, they'll hop to and step up and fill in your shoes. Like, I left for Miami last week and my team ran like a clockwork, and it was a great feeling. And I was listening in on some of the meetings and I was getting chills at some things I was hearing. I was like, that's my boy. Yeah. So I love that stuff, man. And like I said, I would always love to help you with that. Let's talk about your show, who you know.
yeah, appreciate it.
So first of all, how did that get started? And how long did it take you to get that nice set that you have?
Man, I appreciate that. So yeah, it all started at that church. I started volunteering at Stonebriar Community Church. They've got a job seeker networking group over there called Frisco Connect, and walked in there. And day one, when I walked in that room, there was a energy, like a negative energy, just you could feel desperation, you could feel hopelessness, you could feel it was just ugly. It was an ugly energy in the room. And this is a church trying to help these folks, right? But it was just some of the leaders that have been teaching these groups for years and years and years. They started them like 20 years ago, and they're a little older, and nothing to say anything bad against that, but their energy was a little lackluster. I came in the room and was like, oh man, and I really felt for these people. I had empathy for them. And my goal, my mission is to lift these people up. I need to give that energy. I wanted to change that environment because, I mean, that's horrible to walk into a room like that and just feel that energy. Ugh, like
Yeah.
gross. And so for me, it's about like, how they've got you got the 10X growth conference, and you got, Tony Robbins, and you got all
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
like big, for entrepreneurs and business owners, and like, yeah, like they're gonna
Right.
lift you up, motivational, right?
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't exist for job seekers. And that's what I'm creating actually right now. I'm working with a church, and we're putting it together, and we're going to bring in motivational speakers, and we're going to lift them up. They need it just as
Mhm.
bad, if not more, than the business owner does. The problem is, the reason why they're not doing it for job seekers: money. They're not going to pay for the tickets. So it's got to be sponsored by the church. They got to open their doors, and these churches have amazing facilities, top-notch stages and lights, camera action. They can put on a phenomenal production, and it's just got to be sponsored. The money's got to come from the church. So the churches they're gonna open their doors. We're gonna put on this big production. I'm real excited about that. But that's where it all started. We did
Love
the
it.
we did the Who You Know show um 3 years ago, and the idea was like, hey, let's start inviting recruiters, hiring managers, career coaches, anyone that can help this network, because I got the job seekers. Let me put together a network that we can just put them together.
Mhm.
Let's put them together. And so I started doing that 3 years ago, and things grew slowly over time. And last year during COVID, actually, that studio that we were in, it was radio, actually. The studio we were in, they kind of shut their doors because of COVID. And so we went on Zoom for about a month or two doing the show on Zoom. And then we just were like, you know what, we got to get back in the studio. So we went to Real News PR here in Dallas, and they've been amazing. That's that high quality studio you were talking about.
Yeah, it looks great, man. Great show too.
For sure.
You guys, it seems like has some good chemistry with the hosts, and I enjoyed that, and just relationships sometimes conflicts like all of us have. If you recall that day, when
Oh,
you
yeah.
guys,
Me and Mark got in a little argument. That's right. That's right. Well,
yeah,
it's funny behind the scenes. I don't know if you were there for this part of the argument. Oh no, I don't think you were. So it was because of um I was telling him I got a connection with this guy, Tony with the Keys. He created the hashtag Rise and Grind song for Glenn Lundy, and he's creating our anthem, the Who You Know anthem right now. He's putting it together, and it's hip hop, it's catchy, it's an anthem, but it's uplifting, and it's actually faith based, and it's got a lot of like the lyrics in it is uplifting, encouraging, and faith based. And so I'm telling Mark and Foster, okay, and Foster's a baby boomer, older generation, and he's just not. He's like, be careful, and I don't know if you should do that, and
hmm
I don't know about this because it's hip hop,
yeah, yeah,
and like our audience is a little bit older, and I'm like, no, it's faith based, it's hip hop, it's gonna let people are gonna like this, man. Don't worry about it. Just trust me, people are gonna like this song. And we were getting in an argument about something silly like that. Isn't that funny?
yeah. I mean, it happens. It's like, I mean, if you're not doing it though, are you trying hard enough? Like if you're not having some conflicts, that's the way I look at it. But
Yeah.
so anyway, let's end on this note here. We're having a clubhouse thing going on. We're going into the third week. By the time this episode comes out, it might be a month or so old. But it's called Behind the Curtain, right? And it's how long? Like 5 hours long, something like that.
It's 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. Central.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so 5 hours long, but every 30 minutes we switch hosts.
Hmm.
I'm involved with it. We have some great people in there. You're in there, Greg Reed, Dave Meltzer. Who else? Chris Gronkowski.
El Delgado. Yeah, Chris Gronkowski. Man, he's a champ right
That's my
there.
boy. That's my boy. Yeah. So, guys, if you're on Clubhouse, if you're not, get on Clubhouse. But if you're on Clubhouse, go check out Behind the Curtain every Wednesday. And that is, if you're listening Eastern time, it's 12 to 5 Eastern time,
Yep.
11 to 4 Central time. Now, because this show is global, I don't know what time it is where you live, but just know that if you go off of Eastern or Central time, those are the times. And pop on there and see us. We're going to bring you up on stage if you got something to say. We want it's a faith-based experience. It's clean. It's uplifting, encouraging, and we're looking to build this thing and make an impact. And do you want to say some things about that, Trevor?
Yeah, 100%. It's all about building people up, whether you're, looking for a job or you're trying to start a business or maybe you're trying to grow your business. It's all about growth. It's all about building people up, lifting people up. I know, 2020 was a hard year for a lot of folks. I mean, for most of the world, it was pretty hard. It was actually my most productive year ever. Um, I just went into overtime, um, and I don't know if it was fear or what, but I was just like, I got to put my head down. I got to focus. I got to grind, and I gotta push through this thing. So it was very successful for me. But I know for a lot of folks, it was not, and it hurt a lot of people in a lot of different ways. So this group is here to lift you back up. I want to each one reach one. Let's put our hands out. Let's lift people up. Let's connect. Let's network. How can we help you? How can we serve you? How can we get you back to where you were or 10x you and get you where you want to be? That's what this group's all about.
I love it, man. I love it. So I'm looking forward to doing more with it, and the audience is going to grow. We're going to have huge impact. So be there on that. And then, Trevor, what do you want to share with the audience, or how can they engage with you further?
Yeah, come connect with me on LinkedIn. That's where I spend most of my time. Obviously because I got the job seeker community over there on LinkedIn. So if you're on LinkedIn, come connect with me over there. I'd love to chat with you or connect with you there. If you're a job seeker and you're listening, go check out our website. It's whoyouknow.show, and you'll see there's a ton of training programs in there. It's all free, and you can connect with that, and we can help you get back to your income.
Yeah, and guys, reminder, Clear Path Wealth Strategies is who Trevor's company is, or the name of Trevor's company, and they specialize in handling 401k rollovers. Go reach out to him if you have any questions on that kind of stuff. And he's just a great dude. He's not interested in, charging you right away. I'm sure he'll have a consultation with you just to give you some answers to some questions. And then if you feel comfortable working with him further, great dude, like I said. So,
I appreciate that, man. What the funny part is about, we didn't even talk about that. And I normally don't talk about that side of things. I let that happen. It just happens, right? I serve the community. I serve the job seekers. I help them get back to employment, get back to their income. And look, the rest happens, man. Our
yep.
financial company is very, very successful. We do very well, but we don't force it down anybody's throats. That's not what it's about. It's about
Yep.
serving people. And so I love that you brought it up because I didn't have to.
Yep. I want to make sure I give back. So,
Thanks,
Trevor,
man.
thank you so much for joining me today on the What Are You Made Of podcast, man.
Thank you.
You guys have been listening to your boy C-Roc as I jam out with my friends on Waymo podcast. Come back again and see us. Until next time, be good. One more thing, by the way, before I let you go, actually, go get that Rocket Fuel book. And we're having a Rocket Fuel book launch party in South Beach, Miami, March 11th. DM me on Instagram at Mikey C-Roc if you want details on that. I look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be an awesome setup right before 10X Growth Con.